Haley offering the Republican response to tonight's State of the Union address from President Obama. And this is SRN News coverage of the State of the Union address.
You can listen on the go. Find us on iHeartRadio, 660 AM. The Answer. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
And welcome to the Wells Report, the post-State of the Union edition. I am Jon-David Wells. Thanks very much for joining us. Hello. Hope you are ready to go here as we work our way through this amazing evening of what is it? A presidential analgesic, shall we say? I'm trying to figure out just exactly what country the president has been living in for the last 7 years, because the one he talked about tonight was really quite a great country, and I hadn't heard him say anything about that country for gosh knows how long. And what we're going to do is we're going to take your telephone calls. What did you hear the president say tonight? 866-660-5759, 866-660-5759. While you marshal your thoughts, let me head over to the telephone and bring to the airwaves of 660 AM The Answer, and of course, your ears and mine, the Congressman from the Texas 32nd, Pete Sessions, joined us, that sharp-dressed man from Washington, D.C., right here.
How are you?
I am fine.
Let me tell you, I just walked off the floor.
Yes, sir.
Once again, about 40 feet from the president. The same president said, not one dime of taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
And
yes, sir.
Tonight, he was not only flat, he was insulting. And he was certainly a guy that did not even have the presence of mind to look up and say, First Lady Michelle Obama, thank you for the 8 years. He did not, for the first time in the years I've been here, mention Israel. And he did not have the presence of mind, because he doesn't think that way, to say, ladies and gentlemen, tonight let us be of one mind in support of our men that are sailors that are tonight in Iran.
Yeah, I was surprised he didn't bring that up. Not one word. This was all about him. This was a speech about the President of the United States, his last grand gesture as the man who's giving the State of the Union speech.
No question. And I thought the other thing, which is a complete disconnect, is that every time he spoke, everybody else was guilty of something, not him. He was the lecturer in chief tonight. He was the person that was going to tell us how to do it. And yet he is the person that mentions the Republican Party with such disdain on a regular basis. But if somebody else does that, they're trying to victimize the process and make things harder. So it fell on deaf ears. It was flat. Inside, I didn't watch it on TV. Inside, I will tell you, I have never seen more people trying to wander through, and his speech anticipated, and who were left flat, Republicans and Democrats.
Well, all I can say is that this president was talking about a country that really didn't have anything to do with the one that we've seen for the last 7 years. I mean,
well, that's true too.
He finally said something nice about the country.
I think that's right. But you know, the greatest thing that he does, and let me tell you, when we win back the election again this year, we need to remember to thank this guy. He has given us 70 since he began, net 70 new members of Congress. He has given us plus 800 new Republicans in legislatures across the country. He has given us over 20 new legislative bodies that we now hold the majority for, and he has given us really a rallying cry to not just hold what we have, but to go to fight and to come elect a conservative Republican for president. And I am very proud and pleased of what we will do on this behalf.
I agree 100%. Joining us is Congressman Pete Sessions from the Texas 32nd, giving us his eye view of what was going on in tonight's State of the Union address by President Obama. He talked about trying to come up with a better politics. I was kind of scratching my head over the English on that. The grammar seemed a little weird, but what did a better politics resonate like in the hallway that you were sitting in the hall that you were standing there watching the president talk?
Well, the better politics is that what he was talking about is he's been a loser for these years, and he wants to make sure that more people see what he sees and see it his way. But I'll tell you, and you know this, he spoke about an America where there are the same number of people working in America right now that equals where we were in 1978. Our workforce participation is where we were 40 years ago.
Wow.
That is sad for a nation that has grown.
Well, and not just that, but that 94 million people on the sidelines waiting to see what happens next, waiting for the next Republican leader to lead them back into the part of America that they like the most.
We are desperate for jobs, and Republicans, and I know there's been a lot of discussion about what happened in this last appropriations bill. The bottom line is when Texas Republicans fought hard and got what turned out to be a huge victory, because we have done away with the oil export ban. We have crumbled OPEC, but in that process, the guesstimate is 1 million new American jobs. 1 million jobs that we did at funding the government at the end of the year. And these are the kinds of things that Republicans do, and we've got 10 million more that we need to add this next year, and that's what Republicans will stick behind, and we will deliver.
We are speaking with Congressman Pete Sessions. Our telephone number 866-660-5759. We'd like very much to hear what you heard the president say tonight. But what about Nikki Haley? Let's talk a little bit about her response. I thought that was a great statement.
She was awesome. I think Hugh Hewitt hit the nail on the head. He said Nikki Haley could be vice president to any of 6 or 7 people who are our leading contenders. Nikki is a very dear friend. When I was chairman of the National Republican Congressional Committee, I had her be our speaker one year as our keynote speaker. I had her in Dallas 3 years ago to the Dallas County Republican Party as our keynote speaker. She is clear. She is concise. She is tough. She hits the nail on the head. Isn't it amazing when Barack Obama and Democrats address an issue, you always say afterwards, that didn't even get close to solving the problem.
Right.
Nikki Haley solved a bunch of them tonight and told you exactly where she was in 10 minutes. Good for Nikki Haley.
Indeed. I was struck by the president trying to heal divisions that he has been exploiting for the last 8 years. Did you hear that yourself?
I did. And he blamed us for things that he is so guilty of. Look, and then said it's okay for us to have divisions and for us to have things. But his first few minutes, I guarantee you, was a pep rally for his people. And if you heard it once, you heard it 5 times. He is concerned about voter turnout.
Yeah.
He has diminished voter turnout, not only in his election, it's been diminished and downturned in the Democrat Party ever since. And I will tell you that the will to win must reside in conservatives and people who want a pro-business president and people who are willing to go fight for it. And that is who will win this election this year, no matter who's running. No matter who is running, if Republicans have the will to win, we can.
There was one other thing that kept popping up in my head over and over and over again. I was tweeting it. We have a $19 trillion debt, depending on whether or not you calculate it conservatively enough. We have a $19 trillion debt.
We do.
And I'm looking at all of this, and he's talking about, again, free college and, and early, early health care, or not health care, but child care,
Childcare.
pre-K and all that kind of stuff, so that people can work more and leave their children in the hands of other people. I was listening to all of this and I'm going, what are we going to use to pay for all this, Mr. President?
He is going to advocate from the start to the finish, and it's what the American people expect most from him. Go and spend other people's money. Come and talk about things that you cannot pull off the results, and then blame it on someone else when it didn't happen. And this is what we've gotten used to this president, and he needs to understand that all this change that he talks about needs to take place in terms of adding jobs, not adding government, making sure we pay down our debt, and making sure people have a real 40-hour work week, not a part-time job.
Indeed.
And he gets these things confused very easily.
Yeah, well, it depends on where the political winds are blowing at the time. So what do we have to...
Yes, you're right, because he took credit for the gasoline at less than $2 a gallon.
Yes.
So true you are.
Yeah, I'm sitting there going, the federal government had nothing to do with that. Absolutely nothing to do with it.
Well, let me tell you this. The bottom line is you're right, but he was the reverse of it. The reason why we have this is that in 2005, we passed a law that gave surface and groundwater jurisdiction to the states rather than the federal government. And that is when fracking took off. And fracking is able to capture 60% of the oil and energy that was left in the ground. The interesting part is he, up until just a few weeks ago, is for raising the gasoline tax, but was for big time when gasoline was $4.23 in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. He has absolutely been very, very. He's used the convenient statistic to be able to try to do something about his legacy, and that's why I called this speech the presidential analgesic. This is a speech that is designed to make people feel really, really good about a presidency that has not lived up to the rhetoric we heard.
He fooled no one.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Sir, thank you very much for your time. It means so much to us that you
God,
would leave.
God bless you.
That you would leave that floor and join us, immediately. That is so cool.
You're awesome. You're worth it too.
God bless you, sir. Yeah, we'll do. Thank you, sir. Congressman Pete Sessions on the Wells Report here on 660 AM The Answer. Let's talk to Steve in Rosser. Steve, thanks for joining us. Hello.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. You took the words right out of my mouth earlier as I was calling in about, I don't know what country this guy's been in, but it dang sure ain't been this one.
Wow.
Right, you took it right out of my mouth when you said that, and Pete Sessions was absolutely correct. That was insulting. It was literally insulting to the American people.
Yeah, well, I don't know that it was insulting as much as it was patronizing. And with all due respect, once again, I have looked really hard at trying to find a way to bridge I guess it is a credibility gap. I've tried to bridge the credibility gap that this president has destroyed for himself. I've tried to look beyond what he says. I've tried to look beyond what he does to find someone who cares about this nation. And then I guess maybe I'm just being impossible to deal with. But when he finally started saying something nice about this country, I said, "What are you doing, man? I mean, this is a country that you have been deriding ever since you showed up."
And he's taking credit for things he had no right to take credit for. And heck, Canada's suing us right now over a pipeline that he stopped.
Yeah.
That would have created, I don't know how many thousands or tens of thousands of jobs. We were being talked down to, and we were being schooled, and it wasn't the State of the Union address. State of Obama address.
Oh, that's the quote of the night. The State of Obama address. Perfect. Thank you, Stephen Rosser. You made the promo. This is the Wells Report on 660 AM The Answer. Our telephone number 866-660-5759. Want to know what you thought of the president's speech tonight? You don't have to agree with me. I'm sitting here looking at this and I'm going, here's a guy who has essentially run roughshod over the sensibilities of we, the people of the United States. and got to the end of it with his last State of the Union address and said, and besides, none of this really matters because America is the greatest country on earth. What? Then why did you drag us through all this? Why are you asking for better politics? When what you've done is you've sought to undermine, you've done more damage to the American political system, Mr. President, than any other president in the nation's history. In one presidency. What you've done is you have decided that you've got a pen and you've got a phone. These things matter. These statements matter. Not being willing to work with Congress. I got it. I understand. Basically, you did so much damage to your relationship with the Republican Party, there wasn't much to do anything with. Or you just held them in such disdain that you didn't want to sully yourself by crossing the aisle and saying hi. I got it. But if you're going to do that, own it. You know, don't get to the end of all of this and say, it wasn't any big deal. I mean, come on, just a couple of... No, I'm sorry. That's not the way it works, Mr. President. We've got memories. They're good ones. We've seen this. We watched what you were doing. I sincerely appreciate the fact that you found good things to say about America. 7.5 years down the road. Daniel in Mansfield, you did it again. You got to the end of a segment, man.
Hey, I love listening.
Well, I appreciate you listening. Can you hang on and do what I always do? Now, listen, let me ask you this. I'll give you two options. By the way, I only do this with Daniel. We're going to have about a minute and a half after this break. And then we're going to have lots of time after 10 o'clock. I'd rather talk to you then.
That's great.
Can we call you back?
Yes.
All right, Daniel from Mansfield. He is a Democrat. He is a Democrat. He is not a progressive Democrat. He's not a socialist Democrat. He's a Democrat. He's a real Democrat. He's also a supporter of President Obama, and I can hardly wait to hear what he has to say. I realize it as we sit here that I have waited for the president to say good things about America, and when he did, it made me mad. That isn't logical. I understand. Daniel's going to school me on that next. You're listening to the Wells Report. This is 660 AM The Answer.
American leak detection. Leak detection without destruction. We find leaks without bashing a hole.
Hi, Will Nell with American Leak Detection. When the weather is dry, many people believe their foundation is failing, when in fact, what you have is a plumbing leak. Leaking pipes under your slab can cause movement in your foundation and expensive damage to your home. So before you have your foundation fixed, you should get your plumbing checked. With state-of-the-art technology, American Leak Detection is the only name to call. We are the original leak specialists. We can locate your plumbing leak without destruction and then repair it. Don't let a plumbing leak under your foundation go undetected or waste money on unnecessary foundation repair. Go to AmericanLeakDetection.com today. That's AmericanLeakDetection.com.
We're American Leak Detection. American Leak Detection.
It's easy. You sit down, you log into Ticketmaster.com, you grab your tickets, and now you wait, knowing that February 12th is coming, and when it does, you and your friends, you're going to kick off the new year like a boss.
Our sister station,
94.9 KLTY and the Dallas Baptist University Concert Series proudly welcomes the Road Show to the American Airlines Center February 12th with Jeremy Camp, the Newsboys, Family Force 5, Mandisa, Citizen Way, Phil Wickham, Danny Goki, and Sean Groves. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com or at American Airlines Center. Reserve seats are $20 or at the door the day of for $10. VIP tickets on sale now at theroadshowtour.com.
Take a second to think. I mean, how many Bibles do you have laying around your home? 2, 3? Now think about all the places you can go to buy one. There's a store on every corner or a Bible app in every phone. We've become so numb to how easily accessible a Bible can be. But what if your pastor had to walk a day's journey to the nearest Bible, memorize a chapter, then walk back to his church to preach that message he just memorized?
That's the case for the churches planted by Harvesters throughout Africa. Harvesters is a ministry focused on planting churches in Muslim-crowded communities throughout Africa. There's a problem, though. Some of these churches don't even have one Bible. Either Muslim groups have burnt them or there's not access to one in the native tongue. For a one-time donation of $15, you can provide a Bible to a pastor in one of these churches. Just go to 660amtheanswer.com and click on the Harvesters banner to learn more. Go to 660amtheanswer.com and click on the Harvesters banner right now.
From Plano to Denton down to Louisville too. Huffies has it. Also in McKinney, we'll prove it to you. Huffies has it.
I've heard a lot of great things about Huffies, and when I came here to buy my vehicle, I knew they were true.
At Huffies, I got exactly what I wanted. They went above and beyond to make sure I was completely satisfied.
Huffies is by far the best dealership I've ever bought a car from. The entire car buying experience was seamless, and I will definitely be buying there again.
We shopped around a lot, and Huffies definitely gave us the best deal.
And when you come to family-owned and family-run Huffies, see how doing business with Texas values for over 90 years makes a big difference. Perhaps that's why Huffies has been the Consumer Choice winner for Auto Group of the Year, now 8 years running, at the 9 area Huffies dealerships in Plano, Denton, Louisville, and McKinney, or online at Huffies.net.
Hey, Mark Davis for my friends at Climate Evangelista Eye Center with a wish for you in 2016. Focus to get things done at work or getting fit. Focus figuratively and literally. Imagine you're at work getting things done. Your glasses are slipping. You push them up. You can't focus. You stop to clean them. 10 minutes later, you can't find where you were on the page. Productivity paused. LASIK from Climate Evangelista can help. All right, you're at the gym working hard. Sweat drips in your eyes. You wipe. You drop the glasses on the treadmill. You got to get rid of those infernal glasses. LASIK from Climate Evangelista can help you ditch those distractions and stay focused. Get it? And you don't have to break the bank to do it. LASIK from Climate Evangelista can fit just about any budget. Interest-free financing, affordable payment options. Get LASIK for as low as under $100 a month. So learn more about financing your LASIK procedure at LASIKsurgery.com or call them 1-800-714-2020, 1-800-714-2020. Talk to one of the friendly counselors. Goals take focus. Focus takes LASIK. From Climate Evangelista Eye Center, LASIKsurgery.com, 1-800-714-2020.
Dallas, Fort Worth's home for stimulating talk. 660 AM, The Answer. The Wells Report is on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Let me get to Kurt. Kurt, thanks very much for joining us. Welcome to the show,
John.
sir.
Thank you, John.
Yes, sir.
So when the president came out, he said we had a lot of problems. We had Katrina, we had a financial crisis, the Iraq War, and terrorism, et cetera, et al., if you will. And at the end, as I come to the end of my term, things are quite much better. And even though we still face challenges, we'll be able to climb out of this pit. Well, in my estimation, he just made the pit deeper. So
how did he make the pit deeper? Tell us.
He didn't fight terrorism correctly. He withdrew from Iraq too soon without a status of forces agreement. He mishandled, which Bush started. I will put that on Mr. Bush. Mishandled the financial crisis rather than let capitalism just do what it does, eat itself from within for the people that do the bad investments. And then you start from there. And what else has he done bad? Let's see. He's made everybody angry at each other. People angry at cops. I've been given a lot of speeches lately about trying to uphold our cops as good people, which I know they are. There's a bad one. There's a bad one out of every 10,000.
Something like that.
They should be crucified in the court of public opinion. And
yeah, listen, I got to run, Kurt, because I got to get to the top of the hour news and so on and so forth. Thanks very much for your analysis. Thanks very much for your thoughts. You're listening to the Wells Report. This is 660 AM, The Answer. Back with more in just a moment.
Are you ready to take your education to the next level? Arizona State University now offers over 90 top-tier degree programs, 100% online. With ASU's highly ranked online programs, you'll earn the same degree as our on-campus students, with the ability to learn wherever you want, whenever you want. Same world-renowned faculty, same leading education, same global recognition from one of the top universities in the world. Call 1-800-581-5369. That's 1-800-581-5369.
I'm Jamie from Sherman Oaks, and I just graduated with my degree from Arizona State University. I chose ASU because I received the quality education I deserve in the major I wanted, all from my home.
Jamie's not the only one to earn a degree from ASU. There are over 90 degree programs offered 100% online from one of the top universities. Now's the time to learn more about earning your degree online from Arizona State University. Call 1-800-581-5369. That's 1-800-581-5369.
The days go by, the weight goes up, and you're feeling down. Well, forget the struggle. Forget failure, because the most powerful weight loss technology ever is here with Fat Loss DFW.
This technology is a scientific breakthrough that really works. I'm Dr. Jim. How would you like to lose 20 to 40 pounds in just 40 days? Guaranteed. No cravings, no hunger, no drugs, and no hormones.
Put this number in your phone, 844-801-THIN, or go to fatlossdfw.com and let Fat Loss DFW make your body a fat-burning blast furnace. Get with the program and lose 20 to 40 pounds in just 40 days.
She's right. I've seen people lose 40 or more pounds in just 40 days. Go to fatlossdfw.com.
Schedule a free consultation with my friend, Dr. Jim, at 844-801-THIN. I've lost 36 pounds, and if I can do it, you can too. Call now. It's 844-801-THIN. You're going to look great.
The largest wealth and passive income expo in the country is coming to Texas, Saturday, February 6th. Join thousands of investors and expert wealth educators. Meet Del Walmsley. Gain one-on-one access to hundreds of industry experts and topics like passive and tax-free income, finding, fixing, and funding single and multifamily investments. Tickets are only $49. Use promo code EXPO. Get $10 off and bring a guest for free. WealthAndPassiveIncomeExpo.com. Your path to retirement in just one day. WealthAndPassiveIncomeExpo.com. Promo code EXPO.
This is 660 AM, The Answer. A service of Salem Media Group on the NASDAQ as SALM, KSKY, Baltimore Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. 660 AM, The Answer.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. President Obama in his final State of the Union address covering a wide range of domestic and global issues, at one point condemning the actions of Islamic militants.
They use the internet to poison the minds of individuals inside our country. Their actions undermine and destabilize our allies. We have to take them out.
But the president saying that over-the-top claims that this is World War III plays into the hands of terror groups. 10 American sailors being held by Iranian forces after their two boats drifted into Iran's waters.
They're reported to be safe, and Tehran's been saying they'll be released back to U.S. custody soon. But a Pentagon official tells Fox News there is no timeline for the release.
Fox Radio's Jill Nato. Michigan's governors activated the National Guard to help distribute bottled water. That after health officials found elevated blood lead levels in children. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Stimulating talk, 660 AM, The Answer.
Hey, does the idea of having your home sold on time without hassle and for top dollar, does that seem unrealistic to you? Well, it doesn't have to. Hey, Dallas, it's your friend Sean Hannity with your solution and the one real estate agent to sell your home guaranteed. That's Josh DeShong of Josh DeShong Real Estate at Keller Williams. On average, Josh sells a home every 32 hours and averages hundreds of local, national, and international buyers every single week. Now, that means your home sells on time at a price that you agreed to, guaranteed, or Josh will buy it. He spends 200 times more money on marketing than the average agent. Real estate mogul and Shark Tank star Barbara Corcoran only recommends Josh in DFW. And if I lived in Dallas and needed my home sold, guess what? I'd call Josh DeShong, and you should too. Call Josh now at 972-325-6644 or go online at getsold.net. That's 972-325-6644 or getsold.net.
Hey, it's Mark Davis. Happy New Year from my friends at USMD Prostate Cancer Center. And look, the beginning of a new year is an opportunity to resolve to improve our health and quality of life. And at USMD Prostate Cancer Center, guys, that's their mission, to help us improve our quality of life by diagnosing, fighting, and defeating prostate cancer. So if you've got a family history of prostate cancer, been recently diagnosed, please visit my friends, the renowned physicians at USMD. Prostate Cancer Center. 1-888-PROSTATE or 888prostate.com. This special team will help you discover which option is best for you if you have been diagnosed. They'll help you with testing, which we should all be doing once we hit that 40th birthday. So once again, 1-888-PROSTATE or 888prostate.com. If you're hearing me talk about this and you know somebody recently diagnosed, friend, family member, coworker, somebody from church, even somebody that doesn't live in DFW, I still urge you to recommend a call to the USMD Prostate Cancer Center. 1-888-PROSTATE or 888prostate.com. That's 1-888-PROSTATE or 888prostate.com.
The Johnson family had a savings account until their furnace died. The Martins had a vacation fund before their water heater quit. The Baileys have no savings, and their refrigerator just broke. The truth is, it can only take one home system or appliance repair to break your piggy bank. But buying a home warranty from American Home Shield can protect you against unexpected covered costs. For valuable free information, go to ahs.com or call 1-800-479-9622. Why pour money into repairs when American Home Shield will help pay covered repairs for you? Your heating, plumbing, oven, refrigerator, water heater, and more. The choice is yours. Pay for expensive home system and appliance repairs, or let AHS help pay covered repairs for you. If you want to avoid being hit hard by unexpected breakdowns, go to ahs.com for valuable free information, including terms, rates, and coverage. That's ahs.com or call 1-800-479-9622. Again, that's ahs.com or call 1-800-479-9622.
Be honest. Will owning a bigger TV help you get ahead in life? Will another pair of shoes make you a better person? Probably not. But what if you could speak another language? If acquiring a new language excites you more than acquiring more stuff, then wait until you hear this. As part of its biggest language learning event in history, Rosetta Stone is giving away demos of its powerful language learning software absolutely free. For your free demo, call 1-800-300-2545. And Rosetta Stone has made language learning more convenient than ever. Learn on your computer or iPad, then practice on the go with your smartphone or MP3 player without ever opening a book or memorizing boring vocabulary again. Do you want more stuff, or do you want a language that will last a lifetime? After all, it's all about priorities. To try a free demo of this powerful language learning software, call 1-800-300-2545. Again, get your free demo now. 1-800-300-2545. That's 1-800-300-2545.
Are you a responsible person who finds yourself growing deeper and deeper in credit card debt and you're not sure how to fix the problem? Then get ready for a toll-free number that will put you on a path to financial recovery. Trinity Debt Management is a nonprofit organization that will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, put a stop to late fees and over-limit charges, and reduce your interest rates by as much as 60%. You'll save thousands and become debt-free for keeps. It's not a loan. It's a smart way to relieve your stress, meet your obligations, and preserve your self-respect. If your debt has you down, we should talk. Gather up your bills and call this toll-free number for a free, no-obligation debt analysis. 1-800-936-5348. That's 1-800-936-5348. If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-936-5348.
Have you ever considered joining the military but stopped because you couldn't deploy to a foreign country? Believe it or not, the state of Texas has its own military force that stands alongside the Texas National Guard, the Texas Air National Guard, and serves only inside the state of Texas. It's called the Texas State Guard. I'm Tech Sergeant John Wells of the 4th Air Wing, and we're looking for you to join us. Give us a call at 877-398-8350. That's 877-398-8350. If you love Texas as much as we do, join the 4th Air Wing of the Texas State Guard.
Learn a little something at the start of your day. The Mark Davis Show. Mornings 7 to 10 on 660 AM. The Answer. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Our telephone number is 866-660-5759. The president in his last State of the Union address. What did you think about it? What did you think about Nikki Haley's response? 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. Let's get to some of the things the president said. He started talking about the economy when he first took the lectern and started his final State of the Union speech tonight. Here's what he started with.
And a basic fact. The United States of America, right now, has the strongest, most durable economy in the world. We're in the middle of the longest streak of private sector job creation in history. More than 14 million new jobs, the strongest 2 years of job growth since the 1990s, an unemployment rate cut in half. Our auto industry just had its best year ever. That's just part of a manufacturing surge that's created nearly 900,000 new jobs in the past 6 years. And we've done all this while cutting our deficits by almost 3/4.
All of that, very interesting indeed. I like the part where he talked about cutting the deficits by almost 3/4. This with a country that is $19.1 trillion in debt, if you calculate it conservatively. I don't know what the president's talking about. He says a couple of things that are I mean, even to my arthritically, mathematically challenged brain. He's talking about a private sector growth of jobs that has led to nearly 1 million jobs. Except there are 94 million Americans who are out of work and not even bothering to look. Private sector job growth has gone, yes, it has increased. It absolutely has, because Obamacare made it necessary for those jobs that he's talking about to become 29-hour-a-week part-time jobs. And then when you start talking about cutting the unemployment rate in half, it's because all of the people that are working in those small jobs are now working 2 of them instead of 1 of them. And they still don't have Obamacare insurance. Unbelievable. Daniel, thanks very much for joining us. Welcome to the Wells Report. Hello.
Hey, JD, how you doing?
I'm good, man. What'd you think of the speech? Don't talk about what I think of the speech. Talk about what you think of the speech.
I think the speech was excellent. I think that for a last speech, he set the tempo. He set the agenda for his last term, his last year in office. And you mentioned 90 million people being out of work.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, when you look at unemployment under the U6, that includes students, college students, high school students, people who want to go back to school. It includes retired people. I know people in my family who has retired because they have a 401k that return after the recession. So, that number can be misleading.
It's a third of the country, man. It's too big to be misleading.
But you got to look at students, the young people. You got to look at the people who retired.
Yeah, but let's look at those students, man, the ones that have those big college debts that are getting out of college after learning something that they wanted to do for a living and are now waiters. Now that's normally the way it is. Okay, that's normally the way it is while the job market adjusts to be able to accept all those workers. I got that. Except
Okay.
you're still in a situation where these people, because the economy is not growing fast enough, and that's just the simple case, because the government's too deeply involved in it. But the government is the economy is not growing fast enough. These jobs are not coming fast enough. And I'm not complaining. Growth is growth. But I will tell you that if this president would stop interfering with the private sector would be showing us more of the stories he took credit for tonight. Like, for example, $2 a gallon gas.
Okay. We're not going to agree on this because I know in 2008 how we losing 800,000 jobs. So you want to look at, the U6 and you know, what real unemployment is. When he took office, real unemployment was at 14%. But
yeah, but whoa. But the national debt was $10 trillion, man. $10 trillion.
Okay, we can't argue that point. And that's what the numbers are. When Reagan took over, he tripled.
No. Now you're going back 30 years. You just went back 10, almost 10 years. You went back 7 or 8 yeyears. Okay. So now you're going back to Reagan. No. The president has been the president now for 7.5 years.
Okay.
So the point is that this economy is owned lock, stock, and barrel by this president. And it could be better.
My premise was each president other than Bill Clinton has doubled the national debt since the 80s, period. Now, the job situation. When Boehner told us, if you give us a Republican House and Senate, they will put out a jobs bill within the first 100 days. That has not occurred.
That's true. That drives me crazy. Now, remember, we're not talking about the failures of the Republican Party. This is State of the Union address night. This is where we talk about the president. Okay, but no. Nikki Haley got it right in her statement. There's plenty of blame to go around. I mean, the John Boehner, you have to understand, Daniel, I'm sitting here waiting for John Boehner to leave. I'm so glad he left. And then Speaker Ryan shows up. And then he goes ahead and passes another $1.1 trillion of government crap that my kids are going to have to pay for. Okay. So believe me.
You're right.
So believe me, we have issues here.
And again, in 2011, we had the grand bargain where the president proposed to knock off $4 trillion. And the election was coming up. The Republicans said, no, we don't want to do that.
No, that's not what happened. The president, listen, I'm not going to go back and cogitate because we need to talk about tonight in the future. Okay, but John Boehner went over to the president, went to the White House, sat down with the president, and the president blew up that deal, not John Boehner. Believe me, I'm critical of John Boehner. If John Boehner had blown up that deal, I would sit here right this minute and say John Boehner blew up the deal, but the president did it, and I don't care. Okay,
well, quickly, to counter your point, Eric Cantor took credit for blowing up the deal, and he openly admits that he blew up the deal. But let's talk about Congress again. Why won't they declare war on ISIS as the president
they have
stated?
To.
If you truly want to defeat ISIS,
they have
make
to
a statement.
Yeah, they have to. They have to declare war because, but it's not so much. It's not so much that what that does outside the national borders. When we declare war, that creates a mechanism to charge people who attack us here, the way the Philly police shooter did. Right. That means we can charge him with treason. It's a capital crime. We can do away with him.
Exactly.
See, and that's why it's absolutely critical that all of us, Democrats, independents, Republicans, conservatives, liberals, whomever, if we don't get a hold of this terror war, we're going to be fighting it for the rest of our lives. And I'm just not interested in doing that. I'm just tired of that. What I want to do is this. Let's declare war on ISIS. They've got a 401k plan, for crying out loud. I mean, they've got a retirement plan. They have tech schools. They've got all this stuff. Let's call them a country and let's do them in. That's their mistake. We should exploit it as quickly as we possibly can.
We agree on that issue.
Well, you and I agree on a lot of things, but that's not the point. Now let's talk about this. I have to say that it did annoy me that the president is talking about trying to heal all these divisions that he has been exploiting all these years. I've got a pen and a phone. Now he wants everybody to come together in the spirit of Christian good fellowship and actually start legislating together. Well, that's not going to be that simple. But that being said, you and I can come up with deals. We've done it before right here on this broadcast. Do you think that Republicans and Democrats are going to work together? And if they do work together, is what they come up with something we're going to want?
Mr. Wells?
Yes, sir?
To be honest with you, after 7 years of feuding and going at each other's throat, it's not going to happen. I'll be surprised if it does.
I will too.
But it's not going to happen. And again, there's ill will on both sides. And if, I'm the president, and Congress they made it clear that they won't make me a one-term president and we're not going to help you be successful, I will hold animosity myself. Now, I give you that he should have been a bigger man and let some of that stuff go. But that's, like I say, 7 years have passed. To answer your question, no, I don't see anything changing in the near future. It's going to take more executive actions, which is sad. I agree with that. I wish it would work, but I don't see it working.
Well, we'll see. I mean, all we can do is hope. I don't think the country is going to be hurt by another part of a year that reflects what has been going on for the last year, for example. I think that when it comes right down to it, Pete Sessions said this in his conversation right after the State of the Union and the response by Governor Haley, that this is, and the president said this too, this is a government that is designed to be difficult to get bills passed in. This is why our founding fathers did this. They wanted these people to come up with things that made sense, that were so easy to understand that everybody could come together and agree. And those were the only things that were going to be smoothly passed through this Congress and through this government. That's the way it's supposed to work. That way you don't overgovern. I mean, you and I both agree that the government that governs least governs best, because we're Americans. We know what to do, even if the government isn't telling us what's next. But the simple case of the matter is this: is that we need to get this country moving forward again. We need to get the government out of the way again, and hopefully we'll be able to do that, if not beginning now, beginning with the next president.
And the sad part about it, it can start now. I mean, the conversation that the president had at I call it the gun summit, where he took a risk, in my opinion, by inviting the NRA and other gun groups, and he listened to, the wife of the American sniper, Mikhail. And he heard those conversations. That's the president I believe in. And I think maybe if you take that approach going forward, things will work out. I mean,
well, I will tell you this: the president did not look very good politically in that meeting, but he looked great as an American president listening to the people. He has his points of view. I have my points of view. The American people have their points of view. But at least the president was there, and he was interacting one-on-one with people who vehemently disagreed, and he looked good doing it. I wish he would do more of that. Thank you, Daniel. This is the Wells Report on 660 AM The Answer.
Hey, it's Mark Davis with a big Happy New Year from my friends at Good Feet. The folks at Good Feet tell you a lot about pain, getting out of pain, because foot pain can become leg pain, hip pain, even back pain. But you know what? Maybe you're not in pain, but you could just be better balanced, more comfortable, much more supported while working out. Yes, arch supports, the right kind of arch support. America's #1 arch support is great for you if you're not having pain. You're just walking a lot, working out a lot. It's just a good idea for everybody. So visit the Good Feet stores, Plano, Fort Worth, Southlake, or check them out online, goodfeetdfw.com. Goodfeetdfw.com. Arch supports designed for all activities, all shoe types. Listen, these folks have been around for more than 20 years, helping millions experiencing foot, knee, hip, or back pain. Visit one of those 3 locations, Southlake, Plano, Fort Worth, or look them up at goodfeetdfw.com. Goodfeetdfw.com. Get out of pain or get in better shape today with my friends at Good Feet. Goodfeetdfw.com.
Hi, I'm Dave Trainer of the Window Connection. Hey, did you know that you can save as much as $1,000 a year on your utility costs by just replacing some of the really leaky windows in your house? I'm proud to say that I have customers tell me regularly that they're saving 40% or 30% or 25% on their utility bills each and every month. Did you know the Department of Energy tells us that our utility costs will be going up 15% per year for the next 10 years? That's right. You are giving money to the utility company that you will never get back. great thing about replacement windows is they give you the ability to invest in yourself. You buy the replacement windows, you lower your utility costs, you keep the money in your pocket. One of the greatest things about replacement windows is if I can save you just $100 per month, I can save you over $10,000 over a 10-year period.
Call the Window Connection for an estimate at 972-620-1994. That's 972-620-1994. Or go online to thewindowconnection.net.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
It takes a lot of courage to face your own death, but I'm glad I finally did. See, I was putting off getting life insurance to protect my family, even though I knew it was important. Then my neighbor's husband died. I watched her struggle emotionally and financially. It really made me face reality. If my husband died, how would I pay the mortgage, the car payments, or keep up the life the kids and I had? I realized I needed to get us life insurance right away. So I called AIG Direct. In less than 5 minutes, I had a quote. I was shocked at how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. I feel so much better knowing my family has protection.
Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-500-4715. That's 1-800-500-4715. 1-800-500-4715.
Are you ready to take your education to the next level? Arizona State University now offers over 90 top-tier degree programs, 100% online. With ASU's highly ranked online programs, you'll earn the same degree as our on-campus students, with the ability to learn wherever you want, whenever you want. Same world-renowned faculty, same leading education, same global recognition from one of the top universities in the world. Call 1-800-400-8407. That's 1-800-400-8407.
I'm Jamie from Sherman Oaks, and I just graduated with my degree from Arizona State University. I chose ASU because I received the quality education I deserve in the major I wanted, all from my home.
Jamie's not the only one to earn a degree from ASU. There are over 90 degree programs offered 100% online from one of the top universities. Now's the time to learn more about earning your degree online from Arizona State University. Call 1-800-400-8407. That's 1-800-400-8407.
This isn't a commercial. It's a gift to anyone who's sick and tired of dealing with their hearing loss. Because we'll give everyone who calls a free trial of a life-changing hearing breakthrough called Listen Clear. Not only that, we'll also give you free shipping and free batteries for life. But you must call now. 1-800-700-9313. Listen Clear is precisely designed by top audio engineers to fit your ear almost invisibly. And you can adjust Listen Clear to find the perfect way to hear everything, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. Listen Clear is so invisible, people may not even know you're wearing it. And it's so lightweight, you may even forget you're wearing it too. So if you're sick of dealing with your hearing loss, let us give you a 100% free home trial with free shipping and free batteries for life. For free information, call now. 1-800-700-9313. That's 1-800-700-9313. 1-800-700-9313.
Listen to us live on iHeartRadio, 660 AM. The Answer. If it's important to you, we're talking about it right now on The Wells Report on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to The Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. We are asking you what you heard the president say tonight during the State of the Union speech. 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. Let's get to Jim in Denton. Jim, thanks for joining us. Hi.
Hey, Jon-David, I want to know what auto industry he's talking about. He had one of the best years in a long time.
I was thinking about that myself. I'm going, really? I wonder.
Well, it certainly wasn't the U.S. auto industry.
Talk to me. Tell me what you see and what you know.
Well, I mean, they just got through going through a bailout. Detroit, look at Detroit. What has happened to Detroit?
Yeah, that's true.
It's a slum.
Yeah, well, yeah, but that's the city. It doesn't really have anything to do with the auto industry. The auto
industry has moved out of Detroit.
Yes, exactly.
Spread out all over the place, and they're not building American cars in the United States that much now. A lot of it is imported.
A lot of them are in Canada.
Yeah, well, they have to, when they build a car here and they call it made in USA, it means a percentage of it was made here.
Well, whatever the latest, wriggling, trying to wriggle your way through the truth formula happens to be these days. I mean, I buy Chevrolets because I like them. So, where they're made, doesn't necessarily bug me that much. All I can tell you is that we'll know when the United States has the roaring economy we did in the 80s and the 90s. We'll know because all of us are going to be much better off than we are right now.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's what I keep thinking about. I mean, I keep thinking about that and I go, this president, if he could get the government out of the way, would have had a much better time of it in the last 8 years, and so would the rest of us.
All we need is, I'm a small business owner. All I need is the government out of my way. Right now, I operate as a sole proprietorship because I can't incorporate, and be a one-man band. With the government regulations, forget it. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I got you. I understand completely. 866-660-5759. This is not to say the president didn't have one good thing to say. He had one really good thing to say. And he talked about the way we draw political districts. Okay? Now, you have to remember, you got to take this with a grain of salt. According to the story, that's in deep quotation marks, the Democrat Party had problems with the last redistricting we did in Texas. That takes us all the way back to the last election, the last presidential election. Remember when all of a sudden the districts weren't good, and so the Texas primary had to be pushed back to June instead of March 1st? Yeah. Well, that was theoretically the Democrats saying, well, these districts are terrible. Okay, well, now we have a Democrat president saying that what we need to do is we need to redraw our districts to better reflect people as opposed to races. And this was something that I was going, what's he talking about here? I mean, here's a guy that got elected twice because of what's been called the Obama Coalition, which is a coalition of angry groups created by the Democrat Party to be able to essentially deflect nastiness to each other and so on and so on to those people that aren't Democrat. So what ends up happening is that when it's all said and done, there's a Democrat victory. That's all based on division. And then all of a sudden what he's saying is we need to redraw our political districts to just reflect population as opposed to race. What? Coming up in just a couple of seconds here on the Wells Report, John Cornyn, the senior senator from the state of Texas. He's next on 660 AM The Answer.
Hi, this is Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor. I'd like for you to join me on my talk show this weekend. What I do is teach people how to go the natural, organic route. I stir up trouble, too, because I throw out some things that a lot of people just don't think are correct. You know what? We have a lot of experience to back up what we recommend. Have healthier gardens and more fun gardening. Join me this and every weekend.
Join Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, every Sunday morning from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer.
Hey, Mark Davis for my friends at Climate Evangelista Eye Center with a wish for you in 2016. Focus to get things done at work or getting fit. Focus figuratively and literally. Imagine you're at work getting things done. Your glasses are slipping. You push them up. You can't focus. You stop to clean them. 10 minutes later, you can't find where you were on the page. Productivity paused. LASIK from Climate Evangelista can help. All right, you're at the gym working hard, sweat drips in your eyes, you wipe, you drop the glasses on the treadmill. You got to get rid of those infernal glasses. LASIK from Climate Evangelista can help you ditch those distractions and stay focused. Get it? And you don't have to break the bank to do it. LASIK from Climate Evangelista can fit just about any budget. Interest-free financing, affordable payment options. Get LASIK for as low as under $100 a month. So learn more about financing your LASIK procedure at LASIKsurgery.com or call them 1-800-714-2020, 1-800-714-2020. Talk to one of the friendly counselors. Goals take focus. Focus takes LASIK. From Climate Evangelista Eye Center, LASIKsurgery.com, 1-800-714-2020.
I'm Steve Sidkowski, a former Wall Street insider. Right now, I'm holding a book that could change your life. It will show you investing strategies which could help you earn the kind of money you've always dreamed about. And right now, I'm giving this book away for free. So who needs to read it? If you're in the middle of your career and you worry you'll never have enough money to retire, you need to read this book. If you're already retired and your income isn't enough, you need to read this book. And if you don't want to be selling burgers at the age of 80, well, you need to read this free book. The reality is you'll need at least $1 million to ever fully retire. If you're behind on that goal, you really need to read Trade Like the Pros. And you can for free by calling 1-800-900-2040. Are you skeptical that it will deliver results? It's a free book, so what do you have to lose? Find out how at 1-800-900-2040. That's 1-800-900-2040. 1-800-900-2040.
Hey, everybody. Mark Davis from my friends at Walker AC. The AC stands for air conditioning. It'll be a little while before we need that again. In the meantime, it's heat that is at issue. And let me tell you, Walker AC is my heating company as well. Walker Air Conditioning and Heating at walkerac.com, and the magic phone number 972-4, Walker, 972-4-Walker. These are the people to go to when your system needs fixing, when your system needs replacing. They're never going to sell you a system you don't need. They're going to do the repairs right at a fair price. If they can't fix it, they'll tell you about it and introduce you to the best price on the best system for you. It's people you can trust. Isn't that what it's all about? Trust with AC and heating, and Walker AC is there for you at walkerac.com and 972-4-WALKER, 972-4-WALKER. If something's just not working right, if things are chilly when they shouldn't be, your heater's not working, give them a call, 972-4-WALKER, 972-4-WALKER, or walkerac.com.
Hi, this is Natalie Grant. Join me, Charlotte Gamble, and Bonnie Curry January 21st at Northwood Church in Keller for Dare to Be. Dare to Be is a fully integrated program with worship, teachings by my friend Charlotte, and a few special moments we've created to recognize local women and empower attendees to dare to follow the call.
Dare to Be, January 21st at Northwood Church in Keller. Get your tickets now at itickets.com, or for group tickets, go to getgrouptickets.com.
Any Jane Doe can tell you that Geico could help you save. But since money talks, we just ask the savings instead.
Greetings and sun salutations. I'm Jane's Money, and I never knew my self-worth until Jane switched her car insurance at geico.com. Those 15 minutes built me up to real savings. Geico's been helping customers save money like me for over 75 years. So take that to the bank. And namaste.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
NMLS 182334. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org.
Looking for a refinance or a new home loan? Go to a responsible lender. American Financing employs salary-based mortgage consultants who focus on their customers' financial goals. It only takes 10 minutes to pre-qualify, and you may close in as fast as 10 days. American Financing has no upfront fees and will customize a loan program to fit your financial needs. Call American Financing today at 866-877-2322 or online at americanfinancing.net.
This is 660 AM. The Answer. Now, by popular demand, The Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to The Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. The President of the United States touted the economy, which I found to be really interesting. He touted the economy in this speech. And I'm going, okay, but when you're talking about economic growth and you're talking about somewhere between 1% and 2% growth, you know, that's an American economy for all intents and purposes that is truly stagnant.
Anyone claiming that America's economy is in decline is peddling fiction. Now, what is true, and the reason that a lot of Americans feel anxious, is that the economy has been changing in profound ways. Changes that started long before the Great Recession hit, changes that have not let up. Today, technology doesn't just replace jobs on the assembly line, but any job where work can be automated. Companies in a global economy can locate anywhere, and they face tougher competition. As a result, workers have less leverage for a raise. Companies have less loyalty to their communities. And more wealth and income is concentrated at the very top.
And yeah, I understand all that, Mr. President. Yes, indeed. There's a lot of that that's concentrated at the very top, but not as much as there was, say, 10 or 20 years ago. You know, the way all this works is that if you've got a growing, thriving economy, what ends up happening is that people are able to work more, not less. You see, the president made it possible for us to have an economy based on part-time work, because this overarching huge governmental program called Obamacare said that if you worked more than 29 hours, your employers had to qualify you for Obamacare, and that was a huge expense. And employers across the land universally started working with part-time work. Yes, the unemployment rate went down because everybody had to have two jobs to replace the one that they used to have. I don't understand the president. I mean, he knows this is true. And yet this class envy the garbage, there will be rich people. It doesn't make any difference what you do or what kind of government you have. Even the Soviet Union had rich people. There were a lot of people that figured out how to make money in a communist system. There is no perfect governmental situation, but there is this one, and it's the best so far. Let's talk a little bit about what the president had to say that these trends squeezing workers. Let's talk about that.
All these trends have squeezed workers, even when they have jobs, even when the economy is growing. It's made it harder for a hardworking family to pull itself out of poverty, harder for young people to start their careers, tougher for workers to retire when they want to. And although none of these trends are unique to America, they do offend our uniquely American belief that everybody who works hard should get a fair shot.
Yeah, everybody should get a fair shot. And everybody does get a fair shot when there's plenty across the land. But when things tighten up, people don't get fair shots. There are fewer fair shots to spread around.
1 minute.
It doesn't have anything to do per se with whether or not you're doing the right thing from a standpoint of governance in an economy. That's not what we're talking about, Mr. President. What we're talking about is the crafty way that politics interacts with the numbers being used in this speech by you to justify an economy that doesn't truly exist. Are things improving? Yeah, at about half speed, maybe less. Why are they improving at half speed? Because the government's in the way. Why is the government in the way? Because you don't believe that the American people have enough brains to be able to live without the government. And I assure you, sir, that we do. He is the senior senator from the state of Texas. He is a friend of the Wells Report. He is somebody that we always look forward to have on the broadcast. Let's say hello to the senior senator of the state of Texas. He is the member of the Republican Party leadership in the Senate. He's the Senate Majority Whip for the 114th Congress. He is Senator John Cornyn. Sir, good to have you here.
You bet.
So the President of the United States is going to take to the lectern in the House chamber, and everybody in Washington is going to be there, you included, for the last State of the Union speech by this president. And what are you looking forward to? What are you dreading? Give us your basic thumbnail sketch of what you're going to see tonight.
Well, I'm dreading a lecture, and unfortunately, he's pretty consistent about that when he's telling other people what we ought to do, and he's not so good at actually working with Congress to try to get things done. But you know, I guess hope springs eternal, and there are some things, I can think of one in particular that I would love for him to say is a priority. It's something I've been working on, which is criminal justice reform based on the successful Texas model of prison reform, where we've finally figured out how to save tax dollars and get better results and better prepare people who are willing to change, to reenter lawful society and be successful. But so that's probably I think the last thing that I think that we might be able to do together. But maybe he will surprise me. What I hope he doesn't do is tell us what a wonderful legacy he thinks he's established for himself by jamming Obamacare down the throats of the American people or issuing illegal executive orders on immigration or guns. I think that would be a big mistake, but he's the president and he's going to have the podium and he can say whatever he wants.
You know, with that, the justice reform thing that you're talking about there, sir, it seems like this would be the perfect time to get that going.
Well, it really would, because I don't think there's a lot of time, particularly during the presidential election year, and to do many other things. I know there's a trade bill that he would like to see us move on, but there's significant resistance among the Democrats and some Republicans too. So I think really the criminal justice reform issue, and perhaps something that is kind of near and dear to my heart as well, which is mental health reform. You know, talking to our sheriffs in places like Dallas and Houston and Austin and San Antonio, they tell me that essentially our streets in the form of the homeless and our jails end up being warehouses for people with mental illness who are not being treated, but being treated as criminals and never getting their problems addressed. So I think there is some potential progress we can make in both of those areas. They're somewhat related, obviously, and would love to see that happen.
Something that has been very amazing to me as we've watched this president go about his business is his willingness to disassociate the presidency and his administration from the actual workings of the Congress. The Congress makes the laws, except in the Obama administration. And that is something that is just absolutely, it's made me sad. It's disappointed me. And I'm wondering if we're ever going to see the end of it.
Well, only I think when he leaves. I think this president is just either ideologically or temperamentally unsuited to do his actual job. And the truth is, it's hard work to try to find consensus with people you disagree with on a number of issues. But that's what Congress does, and that's what presidents do. That's what we've done on a number of important pieces of legislation this year that I'm proud of. Things like our anti-human trafficking legislation we passed, things like highway bills, which aren't all that glamorous but are important, passing a budget, and I think there is always potential to where people of goodwill would like to try to find some common ground. Obviously, this president has been a polarizing president. He hasn't been interested in engaging with people of different viewpoints to find common ground, but he's sort of been inclined to try to go it alone. And I think he's contributed to some of the polarization and certainly the dissatisfaction we've seen in the country, with 70% of the public saying that they think the country's going in the wrong direction.
You're exactly right. Senator John Cornyn, the senior senator from the state of Texas, our guest on the Wells Report here on State of the Union night for 2016 on 660 AM The Answer. I remember you said something about the 2009 State of the Union speech that was a big sea change for this president. In other words, he's changed to someone who does not want to work with, does want to divide, does want to do these things, but it wasn't always the case.
Yeah, well, he's been a master of saying one thing and doing another, it seems like. But you're right. Back in 2009, he sounded like he was going to be a constructive force and tried to find a way to achieve consensus and to get some important things done. You know, I know that there's so much frustration with Washington, and I share that, but really the Constitution contemplates making it difficult to get legislation passed, and our founding fathers viewed that as a protection against the concentration of government power and passage of a bunch of laws that would limit their liberty and freedom. But the fact of the matter is, the whole constitutional system is designed to force people to work together, not to independently, if you are going to pass laws. And either the president did on a purely partisan basis, which backfired on him, things like Obamacare, when early in his administration, when they could do that. But then when they lost the majority in the House or the Senate, then he started to this go-it-alone strategy, which I think has proven to be extraordinarily ineffective and basically won't survive his term of office.
I don't think he had any choice, really. I think that by the time he got to the point where he had rammed so many things through in the first couple of years of his first term, that he had created such ill will with the Republican Party, there was really no other way for him to go if he wanted to get anything done. At least that's what I think charitably hope is in his mind.
Well, you may be right. I think he certainly seemed willing to poison the well. And you just can't, in a marriage, in a community, in a workplace environment, you just can't routinely abuse the people you're working with or that you live with and expect them not to react in some way. So I think he certainly has contributed to that.
Representative Jeb Hensarling has said that if this is going to be a victory lap for the president, it should be the shortest speech ever. He said that earlier today. It does seem to be, from what we understand from the White House, it will be a short speech. But what do you think the president's legacy is going to be moving forward?
Well, sadly, I think it's going to be one of overreach and squandered opportunities. I've said before that, this president, I think, has a unique role in American history because he's the first African-American president, somebody who I think could have helped heal racial divisions, somebody who could have been a unifying force in the country, but he just did not seem capable or ideologically disposed to try to do that. And so as a consequence, I think all the goodwill that he had, I didn't vote for him, but for the Americans who did and people that did wish him well as the leader of our country, I think there's been enormous disappointment, and that saddens me. But it also makes me helps me realize that our country's big enough and strong enough to overcome any failed presidency, and we can come back, and we must come back after this next election.
I have said my whole time with President Obama that the country is Obama-proof, and there have been a lot of people that have looked at me with hope in their eyes that I was correct, and it's good to hear that coming from you as well, sir.
Well, I think we are, but certainly a lot of people have been hurt either by unkept promises and things like health care, or just the regulations and the stagnant wages that have hurt a lot of working families, people who dropped out of the workforce. I think we know what the formula is, and frankly, we in Texas have demonstrated the kinds of policies that do work, and we just need to embrace those. And hopefully, with a new president, we'll be able to do that.
Speaking of the new president, who do you think is going to be giving you a State of the Union speech next year?
Man, that's a $64,000 question. I don't know. I hope it's not Hillary Clinton.
Oh, me too.
And I trust that it will not be. But I haven't gotten involved in the Republican primary for president, and I got a lot of friends who are involved in that race, and I'm happy to let the voters make that decision. But I think we do have a great opportunity. Secretary Clinton, I think, has really hurt herself by her repeated prevarication, that's the most charitable word I can use, on Benghazi and on her emails and things like that. And I just think there's a great opportunity there for the right Republican nominee for president to be able to win and then to turn this thing around and clean up some of the mess of these last 7 years.
From your spot on the Senate Judiciary Committee, sir, I certainly hope you're able to move forward with your justice system revamp, reform, and also with mental health reform. We wish you great success and good luck in the future, and thank you very much for taking some time on what is a very busy day in Washington, D.C. to spend time with us on the Wells Report.
Good to be with you, JD. Take care.
You're listening to the Wells Reports. This is 660 AM The Answer. Back with more in just a moment.
Hey, does the idea of having your home sold on time without hassle and for top dollar, does that seem unrealistic to you? Hey, Dallas, it's your friend Sean Hannity, one real estate agent to sell your home guaranteed. That's Josh DeShong of Josh DeShong Real Estate at Keller Williams. Josh averages hundreds of local, national, and international buyers every single week. Now, that means your home sells on time at a price that you agreed to, guaranteed, or Josh will buy it. Josh's clients voted, and both D Magazine and Texas Monthly ranked him as the best real estate agent in Dallas. Real estate mogul and Shark Tank star Barbara Corcoran only recommends Josh in DFW. And if I lived in Dallas and needed my home sold, guess what? I'd call Josh DeShong, and you should too. Call Josh now at 972-325-6644 or go online at getsold.net. That's 972-325-6644 or getsold.net and start packing.
It's time for the Texas Minute, brought to you by EmpowerTexans.com.
Quick Texas political quiz. Which election is more important, the partisan primary in March or the November general election? While every election matters, the March primaries for partisan offices is where the real decisions are made in the Lone Star State. In most years, because of the way district boundaries are drawn, less than 5% of the Texas House districts are truly competitive in the general election. In other words, 95% of the races are determined in the primary. In 2014, 500,000 Texans participated in the Democratic primary and 1.3 million in the Republican primary. If you aren't participating in the primary, you're missing out on the chance to decide who's making the decisions affecting your family and business. You still end up with the government you ignore. For EmpowerTexans.com, I'm Michael Quinn Sullivan.
Learn more about the issues facing the Lone Star State at EmpowerTexans.com. Subscribe to the free email and print news updates at EmpowerTexans.com.
Hey, I have rhythm. I love to dance, and I've been told that I dance pretty well. But I'm also totally blind, which means that sometimes my circadian rhythms can get totally out of step with the world around me. Circadian rhythms are regulated by our internal master body clock. But because I can't perceive light, my body clock simply doesn't know what time it is. This can have me wide awake in the middle of the night and fighting to stay awake during the day. That can affect relationships and make it difficult to be productive at work. And it can make every day a real challenge. It's not my imagination. It's called non-24, and it affects up to 70% of people who are totally blind. So if you're like me, you're not alone, and there is hope. Call 855-856-2424 today, or visit learnmorenon24.com to find out more about non-24. Because learning more about non-24 is the first step to getting your rhythm back.
Sponsored by Vanda Pharmaceuticals.
If your credit card debt is out of control, if you're in over your head dealing with monthly payments, there's a powerful secret that credit card companies don't want you to know. If you have more than $5,000 in credit card debt, you have the right to settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. That's bad news for credit card companies, but it's great news for you. We're Debt Relief Advocates, and we're offering you free information on how to virtually eliminate your credit card debt and make your monthly payment affordable. To see how much you could save, call now, 1-800-700-5828. Don't declare bankruptcy. Give us 10 minutes and we could save you thousands. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. Find out how easy it is by calling now. For the secret the credit card companies don't want you to know, call Debt Relief Advocates now and see how much money you could save for free. 1-800-700-5828. That's 1-800-700-5828. 1-800-700-5828.
660 AM. The Answer. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. Jon-David Wells at your service. Rand Paul had some things to say, the junior senator from the state of Kentucky. Tonight, we heard the president tell us the State of the Union. And what we saw was a leader with a record of failure in search of any meaningful positive legacy. The State of the Union affirms one thing. We are ready for a new president. Here's some things you did not hear from the president tonight. Under this president, our national debt has nearly doubled. The next president must be someone with a balanced budget plan to end massive spending and deficits. Under this president, we were promised to end 2 wars that were past their time and mission, but instead our soldiers continue to risk their lives in Iraq and Afghanistan. In fact, President Obama and Hillary Clinton took us to war in Libya and Syria without constitutional authority. Yeah, you start thinking about that red line in the Syrian desert having to do with chemical weapons. And Bashar al-Assad just skipped right over that line as if it was nothing because he knew that it was nothing. Millions upon millions of Syrian refugees in Europe later. We now have a gigantic mess in the Middle East. And because the president decided to make the choices he decided to make, we have ISIS. A group of people that gets bigger seemingly every single week, and before you know it, we're going to have to kill 100,000 of them to end this mess. Make no mistake, that's what we will do in the end. But I suppose the president is trying to live up to the ill-advised Nobel Peace Prize that he earned in his first term. So all we can hope to do is hope that the whole thing doesn't explode into a nuclear nightmare in the Middle East before a new president can come and get control of the situation. There's more, and we'll bring it to you more as we go to midnight with coverage of the State of the Union address by President Obama, his last on the Wells Report on 660 AM The Answer.
The Mark Davis Show. Mark Davis Show.
Well, there it is, the last State of the Union address by Barack Obama. And while it gives me joy to say that, we can't lose sight of the vital task of making sure that Hillary isn't delivering these addresses moving forward. Join us for a Wednesday morning show looking back at the night in the House gallery, the Republican debate coming up Thursday night, and has Tanya Couch fled back to Mexico yet? Big show, join us.
The Mark Davis Show. Weekday mornings at 7, right before Mike Gallagher at 10 on 660 AM The Answer.
Are you ready to take your education to the next level? Arizona State University now offers over 90 top-tier degree programs, 100% online. With ASU's highly ranked online programs, you'll earn the same degree as our on-campus students, with the ability to learn wherever you want, whenever you want. Same world-renowned faculty, same leading education, same global recognition from one of the top universities in the world. Call 1-800-581-5369. That's 1-800-581-5369.
I'm Jamie from Sherman Oaks, and I just graduated with my degree from Arizona State University. I chose ASU because I received the quality education I deserved in the major I wanted, all from my home.
Jamie's not the only one to earn a degree from ASU. There are over 90 degree programs offered 100% online from one of the top universities. Now's the time to learn more about earning your degree online from Arizona State University. Call 1-800-581-5369. That's 1-800-581-5369.
Hey, it's Mark Davis. I love birthdays, and our friends at Abacus Foundation Repair are celebrating 15 years of serving North Texas with the highest quality foundation repair, and they want to give something to you on their 15th anniversary, $1,000 off any job with 10 pilings or more. Not only are you going to save $1,000, you'll have the peace of mind knowing that with Abacus Foundation, you're getting the elite state-of-the-art solution for your home. Millennium composite pilings. Nobody else has them. Abacus has an A-plus business rating from the Better Business Bureau, 6 straight years running on that. The expansion and contraction of Texas soils mean a lot of us have foundation issues. You don't want to call the wrong people. Call the right people first for the absolute best foundation repair. Affordable, reliable home warranty that you can pass on to subsequent owners of your home. Give them a call today, 972-406-9000, 972-406-9000, abacusfoundationrepair.com. Ask about $1,000 off. abacusfoundationrepair.com.
This is 660 AM The Answer. A service of Salem Media Group on the NASDAQ as SALM, KSKY, Balch Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. 660 AM The Answer.
Fox News Radio, I'm Carmen Roberts. President Obama uses his final State of the Union speech to urge Americans to create a better political system.
Will we respond to the changes of our time with fear, turning inward as a nation, turning against each other as a people? Or will we face the future with confidence in who we are, in what we stand for, and the incredible things that we can do together?
Part of working together, he says, is not scapegoating fellow citizens who don't look like us, pray like us, or vote like us. From the Republican response,
while Democrats in Washington bear much responsibility for the problems facing America today, they do not bear it alone. There is more than enough blame to go around.
South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, Fox News, we report, you decide.
You're listening to 660 AM The Answer.
Hey, Mark Davis for my friends at Climate Evangelista Eye Center with a wish for you in 2016. Focus to get things done at work or getting fit. Focus figuratively and literally. Imagine you're at work getting things done. Your glasses are slipping. You push them up. You can't focus. You stop to clean them. 10 minutes later, you can't find where you were on the page. Productivity paused. LASIK from Climate Evangelista can help. All right, you're at the gym working hard. Sweat drips in your eyes. You wipe. You drop the glasses on the treadmill. You got to get rid of those infernal glasses. LASIK from Climate Evangelista can help you ditch those distractions and stay focused. Get it? And you don't have to break the bank to do it. LASIK from Climate Evangelista can fit just about any budget. Interest-free financing, affordable payment options. Get LASIK for as low as under $100 a month. So learn more about financing your LASIK procedure at LASIKsurgery.com or call them 1-800-714-2020, 1-800-714-2020. Talk to one of the friendly counselors. Goals take focus. Focus takes LASIK. From Climate Evangelista Eye Center, LASIKsurgery.com, 1-800-714-2020.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-472-3407. That's 1-800-472-3407. 1-800-472-3407. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, insurance company, and other factors not available in all states.
Are you a business owner who is jealous of some of the great commercials you hear right here on 660 AM The Answer? Do you feel a little left out when a clever commercial plays and you wish it was about you instead? Nothing's worse than hearing a catchy commercial from a competitor who is raking in new customers each day while you still aren't advertising on the radio. It's not too late. I can still help you. My name is Brad Ballard, and I work here at 660 AM The Answer. Call me today at 214-561-9116, and I can turn you into the company everyone wants to work with. That's 214-561-9116. It's much more affordable than you might think. Don't let another competitor pass you by. Call me today at 214-561-9116, and we'll get you on the radio right away. I'll meet with you personally to brainstorm the best message possible that will rise above the rest. It's time to grow your business and sound like one of the big boys. So don't wait. Call me at 214-561-9116.
Hey, it's Mark Davis with news for the new year from my friends at Crossroads Diner. After years of success at the Walnut Hill location, Chef Tom Fleming has taken Crossroads Diner a few minutes north to Preston and Campbell. Keep coming to the original Crossroads Diner on Walnut Hill, just east of Central. But come February, the formula stays the same at a new location. All your favorite breakfast and lunch items, the wonderful hospitality, the great staff, and of course, the wonderful food that you can see now at crossroads-diner.com. Chef Tom Fleming will recreate that magic in the new Preston and Campbell location in February. If you've never been to Crossroads Diner, hit that Walnut Hill location now. Then join all of us for the move to the new Crossroads Diner location, Preston and Campbell. The address is new, but the commitment to great food and service is always the same. Crossroads Diner, currently on Walnut Hill, just east of Central, soon to move to Preston and Campbell. For updates and grand opening information, follow them on Twitter at Crossroads Diner, and online at crossroads-diner.com.
American Leak Detection. Leak detection without destruction. We find leaks without bashing a hole.
Hi, Will Nell with American Leak Detection. When the weather is dry, many people believe their foundation is failing, when in fact, what you have is a plumbing leak. Leaking pipes under your slab can cause movement in your foundation and expensive damage to your home. So before you have your foundation fixed, you should get your plumbing checked. With state-of-the-art technology, American Leak Detection is the only name to call. We are the original leak specialists. We can locate your plumbing leak without destruction and then repair it. Don't let a plumbing leak under your foundation go undetected or waste money on unnecessary foundation repair. Go to AmericanLeakDetection.com today. That's AmericanLeakDetection.com.
We're American Leak Detection. American Leak Detection.
New year, new carpets. But wait a minute, maybe you don't have to spend money on new carpets. Just get the ones you have clean. Face it, after the holidays, they could use it. Here's the special from Zero Res, 214-37-CLEAN. $33 a room, and they'll clean 100 square feet of tile for free. That's fantastic. And a $50 gift certificate to Estilo Gaucho Brazilian Steakhouse. Cleanest carpets, best price, best people. 214-37-CLEAN. They just finished my house. Did an awesome job. 214-37-CLEAN for zero res. 214-37-CLEAN. 214-37-CLEAN.
660 AM. The Answer. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. The President of the United States, before a joint session of Congress, gave us the State of the Union. I'm trying to figure out what union he was stating about, because it doesn't seem like the one he was talking about is the one we happen to be living in. Is that a fair statement? Is that a fair statement? Yeah, that's a fair statement. The President of the United States, for whatever reason, reporting on a country that I have not been living in this last year. And what's more important, he wasn't living in this country this last year either. Now I realize the last State of the Union address is about this president trying to leave a lasting legacy on this nation. This president's legacy is not going to be the one that he talked about tonight. It shouldn't be about the one he talked about tonight. And it saddens me to say so. Our president has found ways to criticize this nation that I didn't think existed before he showed up. He's found ways to slow down the greatest economy on earth to the point where it's just barely ticking over. And then he shows up tonight and talks about how great everything is. He actually said, as a matter of fact, I think I normally don't play things twice, but I got to let you hear this one more time. This is the President of the United States. This is the President of the United States talking about the economy and essentially working as hard as he possibly could to smooth something over that really doesn't have a whole lot to do with the reality.
Anyone claiming that America's economy is in decline is peddling fiction. Now, what is true, and the reason that a lot of Americans feel anxious, is that the economy has been changing in profound ways. Changes that started long before the Great Recession hit, changes that have not let up. Today, technology doesn't just replace jobs on the assembly line, but any job where work can be automated. Companies in a global economy can locate anywhere, and they face tougher competition. As a result, workers have less leverage for a raise. Companies have less loyalty to their communities. And more wealth and income is concentrated at the very top.
See, and that just gets to claptrap. You know, no, the American economy is not in decline. It's just barely getting better. And it's been barely getting better for about 7 years. It could be doing so much better. Let's move on. Then the President of the United States, in what may be an interesting steal from Aaron Sorkin in the West Wing, started talking about Joe Biden's next big project.
You know, last year, Vice President Biden said that with a new moonshot, America can cure cancer. Last month, he worked with this Congress to give scientists at the National Institutes of Health the strongest resources that they've had in over a decade. Well, so tonight I'm announcing a new national effort to get it done. And because he's gone to the mat for all of us on so many issues over the past 40 years, I'm putting Joe in charge of mission control.
We're all doomed.
For the loved ones we've all lost.
All doomed.
For the families that we can still save. Let's make America the country that cures cancer once and for all.
Doomed.
We'll never go back up in
We'll
space.
we'll never be. Yeah, you know, the president of the United States, and I can't say United States for some reason this evening. Yeah, the president is talking about how for whatever reason, you know, we're a country that walked on the moon. Yeah, we didn't say that Sputnik wasn't up there. We created a space program, and 12 years later, we were walking on the moon.
When I heard that, I'm saying, uh-oh, I'm just waiting for Jon-David, what he's going to say about that.
Yeah, here's what I'm going to say about that. Yes, Mr. President, you're exactly right. And that was only 43 years ago. Gene Cernan climbed up into the lunar module in 1972. That was 43 years ago. Mr. President, we went to the moon for $100 billion in today's money. You have spent nearly $9 trillion in your presidency, and we don't have a flag on Mars. We don't have a flag on Iraq. So the next time you start thinking about how to tout American progress, maybe you ought to stay in this millennium. And maybe what you ought to do is you ought to start funneling some of that unbelievable largesse that you throw around to whoever it is you throw around to. I still don't know where all this money's going. I know I'm not getting any of it. You need to throw some of it at NASA. If we're going to be $20 trillion in debt, I want a flag on Mars. All right. Grumble, mumble, mumble, grumble. And then he goes on to talk a little bit more about science. He starts talking about this ridiculous climate change, how it's going to get us all. I mean, forget those guys with black suits and knives. You know what's going to really get you? That cloud over there. It's because of climate change. And by the way, if that cloud doesn't come over and get you, it's because of climate change. It's a hoax. It's a swindle. And the president is still talking about it.
Look, if anybody still wants to dispute the science around climate change, have at it. You will be pretty lonely because you'll be debating our military, most of America's business leaders, the majority of the American people, almost the entire scientific community, and 200 nations around the world who agree it's a problem and intend to solve it.
When he finishes, wait, I got something to point out.
But even if the planet wasn't at stake, even if 2014 wasn't the warmest year on record, until 2015 turned out to be even hotter. Why would we want to pass up the chance for American businesses to produce and sell the energy of the future? Listen, 7 years ago, we made the single biggest investment in clean energy in our history. Here are the results. In fields from Iowa to Texas, Wind power is now cheaper than dirtier conventional power. On rooftops from Arizona to New York, solar is saving Americans tens of millions of dollars a year on their energy bills and employs more Americans than coal in jobs that pay better than average. We're taking steps to give homeowners the freedom to generate and store their own energy, something, by the way, that environmentalists and Tea Partiers have teamed up to support. And meanwhile, we've cut our imports of foreign oil by nearly 60% and cut carbon pollution more than any other country on earth.
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!
Boo! I don't know what this guy is thinking. More people, seriously, more people work in wind power and solar power than in the coal industry? Are you flipping nuts? 2014 was not warmer than 2013. 2015 was not warmer than 2014. These are facts. What is this president talking about?
You know that you are.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, okay. Then the president wants to talk about keeping America safe and leading the world without becoming its policeman. Here's what he had to say. Maybe you can make sense out of it.
I told you earlier, all the talk of America's economic decline is political hot air. Well, so is all the rhetoric you hear about our enemies getting stronger and America getting weaker. Let me tell you something. The United States of America is the most powerful nation on earth, period. Period. It's not even close. It's not even close. It's not even close. We spend more on our military than the next 8 nations combined. Our troops are the finest fighting force in the history of the world. No nation attacks us directly or our allies because they know that's the path to ruin. Surveys show our standing around the world is higher than when I was elected to this office, and when it comes to every important international issue. People of the world do not look to Beijing or Moscow to lead, they call us.
Mr. President, we're going to have the smallest Air Force in U.S. history. We have the smallest army since before the Second World War. Same story with the Navy and the United States Marine Corps. I'm sorry, sir. While it is the greatest military in the history of the planet, it is a shadow of its former self. And that's all because of you, sir. And no, they don't call us. Who did Syria call? This is the Wells Report on 660 AM The Answer.
Hey, it's Mark Davis. You've heard me talk about how great it was for Josh DeShong to take the reins and sell our house. I want him to do the same for you, and I asked Josh how he can make that promise to agree on a sales price and a time frame, and if it doesn't happen, he buys your house. How's that working out?
We can drive more exposure than anybody else can on our properties. The more exposure means more money.
It's basically legwork, doing the marketing, getting that first set. You only need one buyer. Always heard you say you need one buyer. Your job, find it.
Yep, exactly. And so the more people that see the property, the more somebody ends up paying for it, the more it's better for everybody all around. So we've been at right now to about a house a day this year.
Josh DeShong Real Estate, top ranked for a reason. Call him at 972-325-6644. or the website getsold.net. When it's time to get serious about selling that home, call the man who did it for us, Josh Dishong, 972-325-6644 or getsold.net, 972-325-6644.
One of the things about winter is our air conditioning bill goes down quite a bit, but our heating bill goes up quite a bit. So you start looking at the balance and realize that you're still spending $300 or $400 or $500 a month on utilities. You're giving that away, and at the end of the year, you've spent $6,000 and you have absolutely nothing to show for it. You know what you could do? You could put in some energy efficient replacement windows. One of the things that our windows do is pay for themselves in 3 to 5 years. We all want to stay more comfortable. We all want to live in a nice environment. One of the ways to do that is quality replacement windows. Hi, I'm Dave Trainer of the Window Connection. I'd love the opportunity to come out, look over your home, show you what some options might be, bring you samples. We offer 10 different manufacturers and would love to show you what new replacement windows can do on your home.
Call the Window Connection for an estimate at 972-620-1994. That's 972-620-1994. Or go online to thewindowconnection.net.
Be honest. Will owning a bigger TV help you get ahead in life? Will another pair of shoes make you a better person? Probably not. But what if you could speak another language? If acquiring a new language excites you more than acquiring more stuff, then wait until you hear this. As part of its biggest language learning event in history, Rosetta Stone is giving away demos of its powerful language learning software absolutely free. For your free demo, call 1-800-300-2545. And Rosetta Stone has made language learning more convenient than ever. Learn on your computer or iPad, then practice on the go with your smartphone or MP3 player without ever opening a book or memorizing boring vocabulary again. Do you want more stuff, or do you want a language that will last a lifetime? After all, it's all about priorities. To try a free demo of this powerful language learning software, call 1-800-300-2545. Again, get your free demo now. 1-800-300-2545. That's 1-800-300-2545.
Are you over 25 and need to flatten your belly? If so, the next 60 seconds are crucial to your well-being because we're giving away free trials of the belly flattening discovery New Biotics to anyone who wants to flatten their bloated belly fast. To experience dramatic results, call now for your free trial. But hurry while we're still giving them away for free. 1-800-900-2028. New Biotics is scientifically formulated with natural ingredients to flatten bloated bellies fast by cleansing pounds of rotting food and toxic sludge from your body. It even combats periodic heartburn and acid reflux. But hurry, due to overwhelming demand, there's a strict limit of 1 free trial per household. Again, if you are over 25 and looking for maximum belly flattening in minimum time, it's crucial that you write down this number for your free trial of New Biotics. Hurry, call now for details while we're still giving it away for free. 1-800-900-2028. That's 1-800-900-2028. If lines are busy, try again. 1-800-900-2028.
Our sister station, KLTY, presents Pink Impact. From all over the nation, women are coming together to laugh, to cry, to celebrate. On May 13th and 14th, it's time to join together at the Fort Worth Convention Center for Pink Impact, featuring best-selling author, Bible teacher, and star of the hit movie War Room, Priscilla Shirer, with Christine Kane, Charlotte Gamble, and more. Worship with Carrie Job. We are the light of the world. For tickets, go to pinkimpact.com. That's pinkimpact.com.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Call Quicken Loans now to see if you qualify for the government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. And for 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the second year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN or visit QuickenLoans.com.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
660 AM The Answer. 660 AMTheAnswer.com. If it's important to you, it's on the Wells Report on 660 AM The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. Jon-David Wells at your service. Some responses from some of the presidential candidates. Donald Trump said the State of the Union speech really boring, slow, lethargic, very hard to watch. The Iran deal is terrible. Why didn't we get the uranium stockpile? It was all sent to Russia. Dr. Rand Paul, man, this is long, even without being there. I just yelled, "You lie," really, really well, really loud. Good thing I'm not there, says Dr. Rand Paul. Thanks to POTUS, 18 million Americans are covered under the Affordable Care Act. We won't put their health care into the hands of Republicans, which means that 18 million Americans have their health care in the hands of Democrats. By the way, this is Hillary Clinton. So that means that 18 million Americans have their health care in the hands of Democrats. Maybe I'm just stupid, but I'd rather have those 18 million Americans having their health care in the hands of doctors. We can't afford a president who won't admit climate change is real. It's real. It's a fact, and we will take action. Ms. Clinton, I'm sorry, but I have to say this plainly. The president just said that this was the year, thanks to his policies, that the United States generated less carbon than any other industrialized nation in the world. We are taking action. And we don't have to give up another horse-choking gob of money to a bunch of politicians to send it to deep left fieldistan in order to make it happen. I'm sorry. I did not, driving my Tahoe did not ruin the climate of deep left fieldistan. It didn't. We don't need to give them $25 billion of my fellow taxpayers' money. It's not going to solve climate change. It's going to solve some need for politicians to drag down the American economy. That means drag down the American people, having them spend money for things that have nothing to do with reality for the sake of somebody's political agenda. Jeb Bush, middle class income has declined $2,000 under President Obama's failed policies. That's not progress. That's not giving anyone a fair shot. He also says they're not just killers and fanatics. They're radical Islamic terrorists. Still can't call them by name. Jeb Bush also said safer, ISIS on the rise, North Korea testing nukes, Syria in chaos, Taliban on the march. This president is living in a different world. By the way, I just wrote something to the Kelly file about the president's speech. It's a speech from a president who doesn't actually exist about a country that doesn't actually exist. That's what this speech was tonight. It's horrific, and we are finding ourselves in the last home stretch of it. I don't know, maybe the president will try to change. Maybe he's going to try to do something different. But I just don't see it happening. Why would the president do anything different? If he does anything different, the tacit admission is that what he was doing was wrong. Do you think this president would admit that under any circumstances? This is the Wells Report on 660 AM The Answer. Back with more in just a moment.
I'm Steve Sidkowski, a former Wall Street insider. Right now, I'm holding a book that could change your life. It will show you investing strategies which could help you earn the kind of money you've always dreamed about. And right now, I'm giving this book away for free. So who needs to read it? If you're in the middle of your career and you worry you'll never have enough money to retire, you need to read this book. If you're already retired and your income isn't enough, you need to read this book. And if you don't want to be selling burgers at the age of 80, well, you need to read this free book. The reality is you'll need at least $1 million to ever fully retire. If you're behind on that goal, you really need to read Trade Like the Pros. And you can for free by calling 1-800-900-2040. Are you skeptical that it will deliver results? It's a free book, so what do you have to lose? Find out how at 1-800-900-2040. That's 1-800-900-2040. 1-800-900-2040.
People who can afford a LASIK procedure sure are lucky. Imagine being able to throw away your contacts and glasses. Imagine waking up tomorrow with 20/20 vision. Too bad everyone can't afford LASIK. Well, guess what? there's a company that agrees with you. The LASIK Vision Institute is now offering dramatically low prices on high-quality LASIK to make it affordable for everyone. That means you get the latest FDA-approved LASIK technology for a fraction of what others charge. And if you call right now, we'll schedule a free appointment so you can discover if LASIK is right for you. Results may vary. Call 1-800-700-3811. Even better, if you're one of the first 100 callers, ask about an extra 20% discount off our already low-cost services. We've already performed over 1 million procedures. Let us help you. Discover how you can get the quality LASIK experience you deserve at a fraction of what others charge. For your free appointment, call 1-800-700-3811. 1-800-700-3811.
It's time for the Texas Minute, brought to you by EmpowerTexans.com.
Quick Texas political quiz. Which election is more important, the partisan primary in March or the November general election? While every election matters, the March primaries for partisan offices is where the real decisions are made in the Lone Star State. In most years, because of the way district boundaries are drawn, less than 5% of the Texas House districts are truly competitive in the general election. In other words, 95% of the races are determined in the primary. In 2014, 500,000 Texans participated in the Democratic primary and 1.3 million in the Republican primary. If you aren't participating in the primary, you're missing out on the chance to decide who's making the decisions affecting your family and business. You still end up with the government you ignore. For EmpowerTexans.com, I'm Michael Quinn Sullivan.
Learn more about the issues facing the Lone Star State at EmpowerTexans.com. Subscribe to the free email and print news updates at EmpowerTexans.com.
There are times when people need a little extra money. Honest, hardworking people like your neighbor, or maybe you. And some banks don't always make it fast or easy. But finally, there's a company who gets it. Avant. You simply go to AvantOffer.com on your computer or phone to check your rate risk-free with no effect on your FICO score. Complete your application in minutes, and the funds could be in your account as soon as tomorrow. If you need an unsecured personal loan between $1,000 and $35,000, go to AvantOffer.com. Avant will give you a $50 Amazon.com gift card after you make your first payment on time. For this offer and to check your rate risk-free, go to AvantOffer.com and enter promo code BORROW. That's AVANToffer.com, promo code BORROW. AvantOffer.com, promo code BORROW. Loans made by WebBank. Funds are generally deposited via ACH for delivery next business day if approved by 4:30 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. FICO is a registered trademark of Fair Isaac Corporation. Amazon is not a sponsor of this promotion. Other restrictions apply. See website for details.
New year, new carpets. But wait a minute. Maybe you don't have to spend money on new carpets. Just get the ones you have clean. Face it, after the holidays, they could use it. Here's the special from Zero Res, 214-37 Clean. $33 a room, and they'll clean 100 square feet of tile for free. That's fantastic. And a $50 gift certificate to Estilo Gaucho Brazilian Steakhouse. Cleanest carpets, best price, best people. 214-37 Clean. They just finished my house, did an awesome job. 214-37 Clean for Zero Res. 214-37 Clean. 214-37 Clean.
Welcome to Staples. As Staples guy, my office goes through ink like it's water. Staples can help. We have the ink you need, and with our 110% price match guarantee, Staples always has low prices.
So we could go through ink like water. We could bathe in the stuff.
That'd just be weird.
Yeah.
Staples. Make more happen. And right now, buy any HP ink cartridge and get the second half off. Limit 2 per customer, ends 1/16/16. Price match plus the 10% difference discount valid at checkout for items from retailers operating online and retail stores or products sold and shipped by Amazon. Ends 3/26/16. See store Staples.com for details.
660 AM. The Answer. Only for Texas. This is the Wells Report on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. The President of the United States stopped by the joint session of Congress tonight and gave us the State of the Union. And he spent a lot of time talking about the United States military, the United and saying things that he has never ever said before about the United States military.
Now, as someone who begins every day with an intelligence briefing, I know this is a dangerous time. But that's not primarily because of some looming superpower out there, and it's certainly not because of diminished American strength. In today's world, we're threatened less by evil empires and more by failing states. The Middle East is going through a transformation that will play out for a generation, rooted in conflicts that date back millennia. Economic headwinds are blowing in from a Chinese economy that is in significant transition. Even as their economy severely contracts, Russia is pouring resources in to prop up Ukraine and Syria, client states that they saw slipping away from their orbit. And the international system we built after World War II is now struggling to keep pace with this new reality.
Okay, whatever that means. It's like, really? Okay, like I said, this was a speech by a president that doesn't actually exist about a country that doesn't actually exist. Let's go to what the president believes he should be doing as he continues his presidency.
Priority number one is protecting the American people and going after terrorist networks. Both al-Qaeda and now ISIL pose a direct threat to our people because in today's world, even a handful of terrorists who place no value on human life, including their own, can do a lot of damage. They use the internet to poison the minds of individuals inside our country. Their actions undermine and destabilize our allies. We have to take them out. But as we focus on destroying ISIL, over-the-top claims that this is World War III just play into their hands. Masses of fighters on the back of pickup trucks, twisted souls plotting in apartments or garages, they pose an enormous danger to civilians. They have to be stopped. But they do not threaten our national existence. That is the story ISIL wants to tell. That's the kind of propaganda they use to recruit. We don't need to build them up to show that we're serious. And we sure don't need to push away vital allies in this fight by echoing the lie that ISIL is somehow representative of one of the world's largest religions.
Oh, Mr. President.
We just need to call them what they are, killers and fanatics who have to be rooted out, hunted down, and destroyed.
Mr. President, I'm going to go ahead and say this, okay? What about the 14 families who were victimized by the San Bernardino killers? You may not think, yeah, those people they represent a huge threat to civilians. That's us, Mr. President. That's us. And it's nice to know, and I'm sure that those 14 families are nice. They took great comfort in the fact that the Republic will endure without their family members. And yeah, the family members that were destroyed, they gave their last full measure to your policy. To just discount people that are hand raped, that are slaughtered in place. Cops driving down the road in their police car, and suddenly one of these guys decides to unload a pistol from 20 feet, going closer, closer, closer until he's got his arm in the car. Nice of you to notice that these terrorists, these handful of terrorists, who place no value on human life, including their own, can do a lot of damage. And it's nice to know that the Republic will endure in spite of the fact that many of us are going to lose family members. But the simple case of the matter is, if priority number one is protecting the American people, you're doing a lousy damn job. And you're making it harder for us to protect ourselves. You need to direct the Department of Homeland Security to start giving us tactical pistol lessons. That's what you need to do. You don't need to make it tougher for Americans to get weapons. You need to make it easier for them to get weapons so that they can defend themselves from this onslaught that you refuse to name by name. Extremist Islamic terrorism. And you can say all you want to, that these people are not connected to one of the world's greatest religions. You can say that all you want. But they believe that they are connected to one of the world's greatest religions. Maybe you should take them at their word. Then he goes on to talk about Congress and how they need to be serious about winning the war.
If this Congress is serious about winning this war and wants to send a message to our troops and the world, authorize the use of military force against ISIL. Take a vote. Take a vote. But the American people should know that with or without congressional action, ISIL will learn the same lessons as terrorists before them. If you doubt America's commitment, or mine, to see that justice is done, just ask Osama bin Laden. Ask the leader of Al-Qaeda in Yemen, who was taken out last year, or the perpetrator of the Benghazi attacks, who sits in a prison cell. When you come after Americans, we go after you. And it may take time, but we have long memories, and our reach has no limits.
Yeah. Actually, if the United States is indeed serious about winning this war, we need to pass a declaration of war against ISIS. That's what we need to do. We need to do that right now. I don't care if you're a Republican, a Democrat. I don't care if you're an independent, liberal, conservative. Get in touch with your representative and call for a declaration of war so we can start defending ourselves here in the homeland. So when somebody decides that he's going to kill a cop today and he yells Allahu Akbar before he shoots, that makes it treason. That makes it a capital offense. And then we can start putting these people away. And that's what we need to do. He even said it himself. These are killers and fanatics who need to be rooted out, hunted down, and destroyed. Well, get with it, Mr. President. Stop yapping and start shooting. Nikki Haley gave the Republican response. She said the Republicans want America to turn into a new direction. And come election 2016, they know Americans have been paying attention to what's going on in Washington. Here's what she had to say later after the president spoke tonight.
You've paid attention to what has been happening in Washington, and you're not naive. Neither am I. I see what you see, and many of your frustrations are my frustrations. A frustration with a government that has grown day after day, year after year, yet doesn't serve us any better. A frustration with the same endless conversations we hear over and over again. A frustration with promises made and never kept. We need to be honest with each other and with ourselves. While Democrats in Washington bear much responsibility for the problems facing America today, they do not bear it alone. There is more than enough blame to go around. We as Republicans need to own that truth. We need to recognize our contributions to the erosion of the public trust in America's leadership. We need to accept that we've played a role in how and why our government is broken. And then we need to fix it.
She went on to talk about how she is the product of Indian immigrants.
I am the proud daughter of Indian immigrants who reminded my brothers, my sister, and me every day how blessed we were to live in this country. Growing up in the rural South, my family didn't look like our neighbors, and we didn't have much. There were times that were tough, but we had each other, and we had the opportunity to do anything, to be anything, as long as we were willing to work for it. My story is really not much different from millions of other Americans. Immigrants have been coming to our shores for generations to live the dream that is America. They wanted better for their children than for themselves. That remains the dream of all of us. And in this country, we have seen time and again that that dream is achievable. Today, we live in a time of threats like few others in recent memory. During anxious times, it can be tempting to follow the siren call of the angriest voices. We must resist that temptation. No one who is willing to work hard, abide by our laws, and love our traditions should ever feel unwelcome in this country. At the same time, that does not mean we just flat out open our borders. We can't do that. We cannot continue to allow immigrants to come here illegally. And in this age of terrorism, we must not let in refugees whose intentions cannot be determined. We must fix our broken immigration system. That means stopping illegal immigration. And it means welcoming properly vetted legal immigrants, regardless of their race or religion, just like we have for centuries. I have no doubt that if we act with proper focus, we can protect our borders, our sovereignty, and our citizens, all while remaining true to America's noblest legacies.
And then she went on to talk about Republicans owning the White House.
If we held the White House, taxes would be lower for working families, and we'd put the brakes on runaway spending and debt. We would encourage American innovation and success instead of demonizing them. So our economy would truly soar and good jobs would be available across our country. We would reform education so it worked best for students, parents, and teachers, not Washington bureaucrats and union bosses. We would end a disastrous healthcare program and replace it with reforms that lowered costs and actually let you keep your doctor. We would respect differences in modern families, but we would also insist on respect for religious liberty as a cornerstone of our democracy. We would recognize the importance of the separation of powers and honor the Constitution in its entirety. And yes, that includes the Second and 10th Amendments. We would make international agreements that were celebrated in Israel and protested in Iran, not the other way around. And rather than just thanking our brave men and women in uniform, we would actually strengthen our military so both our friends and our enemies would know that America seeks peace. But when we fight wars, we win them.
Governor Nikki Haley from the state of South Carolina. Is she going to be on the Republican ticket at some point? Perhaps. I certainly hope so. Coming up in just a couple of seconds, what did the members of Project 21, what did they think of President Obama's speech? Well, it's not an elegant statement, but it certainly is effective. I'll share it with you next. You're listening to the Wells Report.
Hey, everybody, Mark Davis from my friends at Walker AC. The AC stands for air conditioning. It'll be a little while before we need that again. In the meantime, it's heat that is at issue. And let me tell you, Walker AC is my heating company as well. Walker Air Conditioning and Heating at walkerac.com and the magic phone number 972-4, Walker, 972-4-Walker. These are the people to go to when your system needs fixing, when your system needs replacing.
Jon-David,
they're never going to sell you a system you don't need. They're going to do the repairs right at a fair price. If they can't fix it, they'll tell you about it and introduce you to the best price on the best system for you. It's people you can trust. Isn't that what it's all about? Trust with AC.
While the president touted his Iran deal last night during the State of the Union address, 10 American sailors are currently Are they still the guests of, they are? Right. Okay. Got it. All right, here we go. While the president was touting his amazing Iran deal, Iran had seen fit to grab 10 of our sailors. Are they back in our custody? Yes, but why did they take them in the first place? Was it something that a country that had just been given a nuclear program for a nuclear program in perpetuity? Is that the way you say thanks? Apparently, if you're Iran, it is. We'll talk about it next time on the Wells Report. There's not. They won't. There won't be. There won't be a delay. There won't be. I'll talk to you. Let's get to Mark. Mark Davis, good Wednesday morning, my brother. Listen, coming up a little bit later on, we're going to talk about the president. Mark Davis, thank you very much for this opportunity to come by and tell people what's coming up on the Wells Report a little bit later on. You know what? While the president was talking about how he did such a great job with the Iranians in that nuclear deal, the Iranians were hanging on to 10 of our sailors. They gave them back to us, and that was nice, but why did they take them in the first place? Is there something else going on that we need to know about? There is, and we will share it with you next time on the Wells Report. Mark, we've been waiting for this for years. Real elections with real results are days away. Now, we're just 4 days before a... Mark, we've been waiting for this for... Mark, you and I have been waiting for this for years. Real elections. Mark, you and I have been waiting for this for years. Real elections with real results just days away. Now, with just 4 days before the Iowa caucuses, we're ready to get together with you to watch the debate that could make all the difference. It's the most important debate so far, and we want to share it with you. We'll see you Thursday night, January 28th, for the Iowa Debate Watch Party, Studio Movie Grill, 75 in Spring Valley. Get your tickets now at 660amtheanswer.com.
Bankruptcy. Give us 10 minutes and we could save you thousands. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. Find out how easy it is by calling now. For the secret the credit card companies don't want you to know, call Debt Relief Advocates now and see how much money you could save for free. 1-800-700-5828. That's 1-800-700-5828. 1-800-700-5828.
Are you ready to take your education to the next level? Arizona State University now offers over 90 top-tier degree programs, 100% online. With ASU's highly ranked online programs, you'll earn the same degree as our on-campus students, with the ability to learn wherever you want, whenever you want. Same world-renowned faculty, same leading education, same global recognition from one of the top universities in the world. Call 1-800-400-8407. That's 1-800-400-8407.
I'm Jamie from Sherman Oaks, and I just graduated with my degree from Arizona State University. I chose ASU because I received the quality education I deserved in the major I wanted, all from my home.
Jamie's not the only one to earn a degree from ASU. There are over 90 degree programs offered 100% online from one of the top universities. Now's the time to learn more about earning your degree online from Arizona State University. Call 1-800-400-8407. That's 1-800-400-8407.
660 AM, The Answer. 660 AM, TheAnswer.com. The Wells Report, a daily good old-fashioned North Texas barbecue of anybody trying to take advantage of us on 660 AM, The Answer.
The National Center for Public Policy Research has issued this Project 21 Black Leadership Network communique. Black conservatives critical of President Obama's State of the Union address said it this way: a puffy partisan speech that further mires the president's lamentable legacy. Quote, you can't put enough lipstick on this pig to make it look pretty. You know, you'd think, just reading that in a cursory fashion, you'd think they didn't like the speech. Just saying. Although I didn't support President Obama's candidacy either time he ran, I thought he would be good for race relations. Instead of uniting Americans under the mantle of Dr. Martin Luther King, the president has engaged in a sustained attack on the foundational values that once bound America together: family, faith, and work. Tonight, the president ignored the persecution of Christians in the Arab world while castigating all of us for perceived injustices to Muslims. He further demonized millions of Americans who don't believe in man-made anthropological climate change. And he pandered to a tiny partisan crowd by promising more free programs on the backs of taxpayers. It's hardly a speech to be proud of. So says Stacey Washington, host of Stacey on the Right. The executive producer of the Wells Report is Vicki Steifer. Technical director, conductor of the Wells Report Orchestra is Magic Matt Swinney. My name is Jon-David Wells. Thank you very much for this opportunity to share this show with you. This is the Wells Report on 660 AM The Answer.
Hey, it's Mark Davis. Happy New Year from my friends at USMD Prostate Cancer Center. And look, the beginning of a new year is an opportunity to resolve to improve our health and quality of life. And at USMD Prostate Cancer Center, guys, that's their mission, to help us improve our quality of life by diagnosing, fighting, and defeating prostate cancer. So if you've got a family history of prostate cancer, been recently diagnosed, please visit